Hey folks, Randy here with Dylan Cut and Trim. So I just finished tearing down a shed. I was kind of in an overgrown area, and the customer said I want it torn down and all the stuff that's in it taken to the dump. And I got excited. So I was like, this guy has no idea what's in this shed. Looks like there might be some good stuff in it. I can't really see, so I gave him a price. Gave him a high price, and was able to do it. But when I got in there and was able to actually get in the shed to see what was in it, there was no good stuff. I do not understand what was happening here, but this person had a perfectly, well, I'm assuming at some point, perfectly good shed, and they used it to store sticks. And these sticks have been in there so long that a lot of it literally turned to dust in my hands. Like I would go to pick up a piece of wood and it would crumble. So anyway, I was heading, since I don't have a trailer and just have the bed in my truck, I realized I probably could have fit everything in 2 loads of the dump, and but it was going to have to be separated. So like there was a lot of brush, a lot of sticks, and then there was the actual components of the shed itself. So I decided I would make 2 runs to the dump, and so I made the first run, loaded back up, and looked at my clock, and I had exactly 1 hour to get to the dump, unload, and get back to my neighborhood to pick my son up from the bus. And I was just like, it's a 15-minute drive there, so 15 minutes back, so 30 minutes in the truck. That gives me a half hour to unload, assuming everything goes according to plan. Why would that happen? So we're not going to do the shed thing today. So you may be wondering, why did you tell me that story, Randy? Well, the reason I'm telling you that story is I have a bunch of time on my hands and a topic is on my mind, and I figured I'd share. So today I want to talk to you guys about how my wife interacts in the business, how she factors in to Dylan Cut and Trim. There was a situation that got on my radar. I'm not going to say who or why or what, and no one please guess. But a situation got on my radar, and it really got me thinking about how my wife interacts with my business. And so there's two main ways. The first one, and this is we'll do that one second. So the second one is she is probably the most valued advisor I have in my lawn care business. My wife doesn't know anything about cutting grass, doesn't know anything about trimming. That is not her wheelhouse at all. She doesn't know about any of that kind of stuff. But whenever I have to make a decision and I am not completely confident on what I'm doing, I'll seek out other lawn guys, I'll talk to them. But the person that's going to have the most sway is when I talk to my wife. And when I say I talk to her about stuff in the business, I talk to her about everything. Matter of fact, just last week, I needed to buy new ramps. I narrowed it down to 2 different sets of ramps. And I spent 10 minutes talking to my wife about the pros and cons of these ramps. And she gave me her feedback. And then I was able to go to the store very confident that I had made the correct decision in regards to ramps. That was kind of a meaningless thing. Didn't matter that much. But the fact is that my wife has a perspective that I very, very, very much value. She has, and I think this is true for anybody that's married, but my spouse is able to see things from a different perspective than I am. She understands things in a different way. She has a different view. And so she's able to provide me feedback that I can't because I'm looking at something from this direction. But since she's over here, she can see it from this direction. And she can provide additional insight that I might not see. I've gotten to learn this over a long period of time of her constantly being right. I am pretty sure it's been 5 years since I've gone against any business advice that she's had, because whenever I do, I always regret it, because it turns out that she was right and I've caused myself a lot of pain and heartache. There's one situation in particular where a company was Doesn't matter what was happening to them, but they needed someone to take on their route for the rest of the year. And it was going to be 25 customers, additional customers to me. And all I saw was dollar signs. And my wife said, I don't think you should do this. I think you're asking for trouble. I don't know, that there's something about this guy. I don't like it. And I was like, nah, we need to make some money. And so I took on those 25 customers. It was a nightmare. It was awful. It was horrible. And 2 weeks in, I had to make myself look like a loser and tell that guy, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. You have to figure out something else. And I felt bad for doing that, but I had made a horrible choice and I needed to get out of it. And ultimately, it wasn't my problem. But if I had listened to my wife in the beginning, that wouldn't have happened. So she functions very much as a advisor in the business. Actually, it's kind of funny. I didn't know this, but there's a business owner that I very much look up to. I'm sure a lot of people do. It's Dave Ramsey, and I didn't know this until like maybe a month or two ago, but he does the exact same thing with his wife. His wife has input on all the major business decisions that they make over there. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. Now, another thing that I do that turns out Dave Ramsey also does, again, didn't know that, is my wife has 100% access to our money. As I guess I'm talking more personal, but in our business or in our family, my wife has been managing the home. I guess for pushing 5 years now. She's been that longer than that, but she's done little like had side jobs or babysitting and stuff like that. And but this for the last 5 years specifically, she's been home taking care of the kids. So I'm the only one that makes money. I'm the only one that brings any money in. The absolutely only one. But I want to be really clear on this. She has 100% access to every dime I bring in. We have a bank account where the money I make goes. We both have debit cards for that account. We both have equal access to what goes into that account. And we both have equal say in how the other spends money. If I'm going to spend more than, honestly, and I'm not talking about gas and things like that, but if I'm spending more than like, 30, 40 bucks or something like that, I talk to her first. Even though I'm the guy that makes the money. Because we're partners. We work together. We 100% are on equal footing in everything. So she has absolute access to everything in the bank account, and she gets to spend that money. She doesn't have to ask my permission. Now, because we're partners, we do talk to make sure we're on the same page. But it's to make sure we're on the same page, not to ask permission, not to, beg. Not so that I can grant approval. It's because we work together as partners. And there's a bunch of stuff I want to say about that. But I think that is the only way to be. I think regardless of how the money comes into the home, it's our money. Regardless of where it's coming from. Yep. When you're the husband of a woman that stays at home to take care of your children and to maintain your house, you need to do everything in your power to make sure she's clear that you're equals. That you guys have equal access to the money. There's no Yeah, it's just that's all I gotta say about that. You're gonna think like, man, Randy, what is that in reference to? I'm not gonna say out here. So this is Randy with Dolan Cut and Trim. I hope this video was helpful to you. Have a good one.